What's good, everyone? No one's here yet, but as usual, y'all can, whoever's coming here in the future, probably go about 5 minutes in. That's where these talks tend to start. So I will, I'll just hold down the fort until some people show up, and we'll go from there. Sound good? Cool. Great. Grand. Wonderful. What up, Daniel Drury? So I lost the edge and the motivation of what I was going to talk about earlier because I couldn't catch a signal. So I'll just save that talk, whatever it was going to be about, for whenever it hits me again. But I figured I wanted to get a little bit more online again, so the newer followers of my work can jump on here and see if we can find some new people that have questions and ideas and want a little inlet into the mind of the Tsar. What up, Kia? What up, Super Champion Rocker and ilLUMES? So I figured what I would do is just jump on here, and if something tickles my anus and I feel like saying something funny, I'll say it. And if y'all got something you want to know, let me know. What do you want to talk about? Where you want to go with this? I mean, I was gonna do something on Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday and this other Indian holiday, but nah. What up, Joseph Lapiana? What up, Ernstins? It's kind of shiny out here. It hasn't been very sunny lately, so I haven't been doing much sun gazing at all. And this, basically the whole winter, I've been kind of just up in the house. I haven't really been out doing things, so the shiny sun is kind of glary on my eyes. So I kind of got to get in the cut over here for springtime, staring into the abyss of the sun. Brad Milligan, how do you choose a path? Close your eyes, flip a quarter, throw some stones. Usually they say if you flip a quarter and you have two choices, you'll know what you want to do before the thing hits your hand. If you say, "Oh, I hope it's not heads, I hope it's tails," well, you know what you want to do. I think that I've done this talk a few times before, and I think specifically what you're looking at is there's nothing to choose. Like, you can always choose something else. You must maintain that thing. Like, I can make one choice for today, or I can make 150 choices today. I can make 150 choices today. I probably already made 25 to 30 different choices than what I had maybe planned out in my head, because I wanted to go have breakfast or lunch at this place that I've never been before. And so in my head, I had mapped out, okay, I'm gonna go here, then I'm gonna go here, and then here. Well, took my bike ride and I get to this place and it's not open. So my choice didn't hold up. The what I required, because I didn't plan ahead, or because I didn't, as I usually do, I don't make too many little notations. I didn't make the phone call and do all the things to make sure the place was open, and so I made a new choice. You're always granted in every moment an opportunity to make another choice, always. So I don't think it's too much to be. Don't be too caught up in making a right or wrong choice about anything. Because if it doesn't seem to be serving you, you'll know it quickly, and you'll go do something else. ilLUMES, do we come out of the Dark Ages? I think the Dark Ages just have to do with more or less the ability to create, you know, the theory of darkness is there's no say in the matter. You don't know what's going on. So you're created. This is that thing that happens where people like to believe in a creator, so therefore they're created, but they don't think they're a creator. So they're in a dark age. You're in a dark age if you think you're created and you have no capacity to create. Once you come to the point of believing you're the creator, that changes everything. So you are creating. So you are as God, or as whatever you want to call it, that is part of the creation as well as pushing into the creation. What sign is more powerful, Kia, to stare at? Probably one that you've made yourself. Although I do think that the Ankh is probably, I would say, the least powerful to stare at. I would say the spiral or the flower of life would be the more correct. The flower of life is this way, is an expansive thing that you see the creation happening expansive, and a spiral usually takes you into a focal point. So I think they give you two opposite ideas, both in a creative vessel. Like you're focusing in on a spiral, hypnosis right there in the middle, versus the flower of life. It's showing you the creation aspect. So I think those two have the most power, or your own symbol, because you're more interested in your own symbol that you've created. And interestingly enough, I've just created a really awesome tattoo that I want to do very, very soon. Electric towel, how to dream and dream, yeah. That is it. I'm in your dream, you're in my dream, and we fold them into each other. And some people are the I would say some people are the characters in your story, and some people are just the background noise, and some people are part of the larger dream that you're dreaming, the story you're telling, the story you're creating. Kia, you dreamt about 2 suns? That's fun. I've had many dreams of multiple suns and multiple moons. Yeah, the sun one is a lot of fun. And I was like pointing it out to someone, and they just wouldn't look. I was like, do you see there's 2 suns right there? And they wouldn't look. Oh, Brad Milligan, someone needs you to pick or you lose one of the opportunities. Whoa, well. You can always just go like this and go, pick neither. Or have somebody else choose for you and just say that's what it will be. The thing about using a coin, you kind of just like, leave it up to chance. And if you let somebody else do it, then you can kind of hold them responsible. And that's maybe not that good if you're kind of the person to be like, oh, I shouldn't have let that person choose. What's up, my man? How you doing? Okay is better than no good.
Yes.
We getting better and better.
Getting better and better.
Beautiful.
Tell that the blessing is coming and the devils are out.
Good.
So big money coming and the broke people are getting mad.
Good. Somebody's gonna be mad, somebody's gonna be happy. That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
Just stay the happy one.
I love to be the happy one. That's why I learned how to walk away from stuff.
Good, man.
And how to put stuff on videotape instead of me just handling it myself and don't have no evidence. So I beat to the punch and a lot of them don't like it.
Cheers, man. That's a Kia. That's so funny you just said that. The person I was just talking to was talking about that. Well, interesting number. So that would come out to 6 would be that number. 6 is the number. 3 6s and 9s, huh? I wonder if you went through all the lottery numbers and seen what they boiled down to. How often there were 3, 6, or 9. Joseph Lampiana, I don't give that any credibility whatsoever. It's not it's not my reality. I don't invest energy into such low-level ridiculousness. If it was on the TV, it's 100% a lie anyways. What have you ever heard on the TV that is even an inkling of the truth in it? So no, I could barely even read that. It's not even in my projection.
Yeah, I'm doing a walk now. I have a walk down here. I can get a hold of my sister.
Ha 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 ha.
Okay.
Torrance Garden.
Oh, okay, because I'm actually right around the corner. Okay.
Yeah, magic is magic, man. See, the thing is, the precipice of going over to the side of creation, of creating magic, before you were underneath the guise or the guide of... Cheers, man. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, brother.
Good to see you.
What's your name?
Zen.
Zen. I'm Knowledge.
Knowledge. Good to meet you.
Oh, yeah. Good to meet you. We're going to see each other again.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Have a blessed day.
You too, man. So the bit about magic here. So when you're on one side of magic, you just accept things as, oh, God did it, you know? That whole, well, that's just the plan of the universe. That's God. That's even people into things that don't have to do with religion. Even spiritual people will always say, "Oh, the universe will take care of it." Well, then no matter what happens, good, bad, or indifferent, you don't feel any accountability for it. There's no like, well, that's just what happened. But then on the other side of the magic, that means you need to be in control of all the dips and thongs and switches and all the things in how you're steering the ship, how you're playing with the controls, and the thing is, when you first start doing it, you don't know all the controls, you don't know all of the dots and the lines and the here can I adjust this, you don't know that. So things that crop up, you take more responsibility for. You go, oh damn, did I create that? And so that it's just the beginning of magic. There's always those little humps in the road, and it has nothing to do with those things would have happened anyways in your life in the past, but you wouldn't have said, oh, did I do that? You would just go, oh, that's just what happened. Now you go, oh shit, am I doing all of this? Did my man Knowledge just walk up to me because I created him to walk over into my, did he sit there because of me? Did I sit here because of him? A dude that I was talking to? Never met him? So is that magic on my part and his part? Is that a simultaneous magical thing? So that's the, as I started this earlier when I was saying that the path of the created or the creator, like you're both, and getting into the ship, getting into your body, getting into your knowledge, getting into your magical birthrights of creating out of your consciousness. It's just little bumps along the way of, okay, the devil's in the details. You need to make a little more, this is why you use sigils. This is why you do things that are a little more, maybe create a grimoire, make it a little more intense, maybe have more intense. Your intentions are your intents. So the more intense and focused you are that you put into one sigil, the more exacting the results will be. I mean, you don't need to use a sigil, as I always say, it's always up here, but if you put it into a sigil, then it'll be a lot closer to what you want. You won't have to worry about the little oh shit, I didn't think about that part. I want a new Ferrari. Okay, cool. Somebody gives me a Ferrari now, I'm gonna have a lot of problems because can I afford the gasoline? Can I afford the oil changes? The insurance on that mother? Oh my goodness. Can I afford the insurance on a Ferrari? A brand new one? No way. Are you $150,000 car? The insurance on that a month? Probably in the $1,200 to $1,500 range. I ain't got that cash. So all of a sudden I want a Ferrari. Okay, deal with it, right? It ain't gonna work out too well. Soren, what do I think you feel guilty about? Well, I would say the beginning that you said, you've created who I am today. I am not your creator. I gave you the capacity to create yourself. What do you feel guilty about? I don't know. Probably what I just said about like not being able to have control over all of the diphthongs. But in time it comes. It's kind of like riding a bike or riding a horse. You don't hold on too tight. You kind of loosen up on the strings. Like in the beginning, you want to hold on and steer the thing, and you'll end up hurting yourself. You end up oversteering a horse or oversteering your bike. But if you loosen up even like driving a car, loosen up the handle on the steering wheel, loosen up the reins, and things flow a little more. You don't have to cross every T and dot every I, and you know. Over control is just as much as no control, you know. What's up, Sean, man? Yeah, since the thoughts manifesting more quickly, that always happens when you're cleaner. It happens in certain cycles based on the sun and the moon. It happens intention, focus. It happens because of, you could get into the 100th monkey kind of thing. The more people are aware, more people being aware, just that alone, of anything. More people are aware that the earth is flat and these institutions are just false, right? So that alone, people start to, build up energy and power of their own, realizing these institutions aren't going to be around that much longer because they serve no purpose. There is no purpose for NASA. There is no purpose other than to create conflict, and nobody wants conflict. So if everybody knew, like, people out here always like, oh, like, do you think NASA's going to come out and be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, you know what, we didn't go to the moon, there's no shit out there. They're not going to do that. They're going to fade away somehow, some way, but like, they have no purpose. So now people, they don't have the stars to look at anymore. They don't have Hollywood to look at anymore. They meads go away, and all of a sudden they become the mead. They become their own media, as was said in the Stanley Kubrick's work, and the work that was done by the Sync book. These guys that created the Sync book, and they made a video about Back to the Future, 9/11, and Stanley Kubrick, and they used a lot of ideas about touching the screen, touching this right here, that the method of the media is inside of the, like, we have the same capacity as all other media sources now. So we're holding the same staff of energy that any other person that has power or providence over any media device, any other institution. Yeah, they can control it in a certain way, but now you have it too. Your voice, your entity, your being, whatever you are, you have as much power as anyone else. It's a tiny little phone. Tiny little phone, doing the same thing as they do with tens of millions of dollars of studio budget in Hollywood. The difference is some people out here are absolutely 100% authentic and honest and truthful. And what you get from the media is a story. No, stories are great and wonderful, and they serve a purpose, and there's a place for them. But the relinquishing of all of that, like, think of all of the people that go into making things for NASA or that go into Hollywood. If they had to individually do it, could they do it? Could they put themselves on camera? Could they be authentic, or are they just a tiny little piece to somebody else's larger conglomerate of misinformation at times? Sometimes quality information, but again, it's always been kind of disguised through archetypes and disguised through lenses and mirrors. But getting back to the Sync guys, I can't think of the exact quote that I want to give you right now, but it's on the tip of my brain, and hopefully I'll find it for the end of this video. And it was Marshall McLuhan. It's a Marshall McLuhan quote, and it's just basically about what the media is, and how the connection between Kubrick and Marshall McLuhan, and what the real magicians in the media are doing, and now that what 2012 was and what 2020 is, and what these cycles are, and what we all are as magicians, and who the Mayans were. And the Mayan is the word mind, because the Maya means illusion. They were the illusion makers. Your mind is the illusion maker, and so you become creating the illusion for yourself and for other people too. And it just so happens that people are more interested now in a union of illusion, of something better. That they're not just, okay, well, they got all the power and control because they got these strong, giant media conglomerate devices, and they're telling us a story, they're telling us the truth. And now as that starts to fall away, people are going, no, we want something better than this. We don't want the fucking crumbs from your table. We don't want the shit you're serving us. We don't want the vaccines that we know you're poisoning us with. We don't want the GMOs in the food. We don't want that. We want an environment that's healthy and sustainable. And remember when I was a kid? Remember when you were a kid and what we thought the world was? That's what we want now, what we thought it was. Now we all growing up, all the lies and confusion and people who are trying to leverage assets for money and power and politics, and nobody wants that. And people are very much in droves, in union, in unison, speaking the same thing, because it's tiring to have these people that are powerless use and wield a language, a tongue, and a tone and a sound against you and against the whole human populace, because they're weak, because they're feeble, because they don't know what death is, because they don't know what true magic is. What up, John Scarborough? Torn Garden, that's a great question. Should I trust myself? How can I tell if it's intuition and projection from someone else, or if it's trick or it's paranoia? Yeah, that's a very, very good question, and that is the initial birthing sufferings of magic and of life in general. Really, it's I've been eating all of this food, and I know it's doing a number on my gut. This is what you say. And you're supposed to have gut intuition. You're supposed to have a feeling in your gut, but your gut is full of shit. So can you trust your gut? Once you've cleansed your gut out, and your bowels are in good order, and bowel is following your orders as the Most High, and Hanuman ain't running around, and you're sitting up here as Brahma, and you're telling bowel, I got you, what do you need? But I'm going to feed you well. Then things change. Then the gut speaks with strength, because bowel is not to be fucked with. But we keep loading shit into bowel, and he's like, I don't know what to do with all this shit. I gotta put it over here. Now you're a fat slob, and your temple is destroyed. It's falling apart. It's in ruins. But what would you do? You would clean it up, and all of a sudden when Baal says something, then you go, that's correct. Because Baal has just as much authority over this plane than the Most High does. It's equivalent, if not more, for Baal. But if you're giving Baal bad information, misinformation, meaning the food, meaning what we're listening to, if you're listening to the news media, if you're listening to people that are full of shit, you're feeding that all into that. You're feeding it into the complexities of, you're making everything more complex. But simplicity says, what am I made of? I'm made of water, oxygen, a little bit of earth. Now, if I stand there on my square, circle myself, my consciousness, and say, I am in agreement. I agree with these elements which are me, and I am them, and I have nothing in the way of being that, then then I can take something as simple as this and I can go, is this working with my system? How do you like that bowel? How do you like that mind? How do you like that system? And then all of a sudden you can have a better, because it is a minefield, because you've lived your life under tyranny of your mind. You lived your life under tyranny from the states, from all of the states, from the governmental institutions, from the media. You've lived under the fear, because they've been feeding you that to keep you docile and keep you humble and keep you within reason. So that's what you know. That's what your mind knows. So your mind reflects back upon that. And until you get all of that out of you, what can you know? That's all you could know. But so now you get in this position where you go, man, I feel different because I've cleansed myself, and things feel different now. And all of a sudden, these things that used to look good to you don't look good no more. And these people that used to talk to you don't sound right no more because you're hearing authenticity, and some people don't have it. It's just a little bit of an adjustment, and it doesn't take too long. You could go one of the best ways if you're dealing with anxiety of that degree, when things are kind of like there's so many things, like now all of a sudden you're magical and all of these things are going on in your life. Go get some needles put in you. You know, go see yourself a chiropractor. Go get a spinal adjustment. Go get a massage. Take all the money that you'd have been spending on shitty ass food and dog shit, and go and spend it on healing your temple. Getting acupuncture is one of the greatest things you can do. If you find a very, very skilled acupuncturist, it will change the way you feel and think about everything. You like that, huh? He was very familiar to me, TsarXen. I've seen him before. I'm pretty sure I've met him before and had a conversation with him somewhere in the various, not like in another lifetime like that, but like, you know, I've lived here long enough. Dips and dongs and dip dongs. What up, Dong Cheetle? I probably said dongs because of you. Joseph Lapiana, you did the age urine and had good. That's good, man. That's awesome. It does a number. It does for sure. Well, thank you, Sean, man. Cool. Yeah, I don't think you can, if you had written it down somewhere else and tried to put it into the box here, I don't think it lets you. I think that's just something that, so people can't spam on YouTube. I think that's how that works. Yeah, Torrance Garden, you know, it's giving up control over your plans. You plan on an outcome. That's what you work with. You work with outcomes. You say, this is what I require. That's all. All of the other steps in between is not for you to decide. Here's how it works. What you'd call archons or archetypes, or the major, say the 12 around the 1. Let's use this example as well. You can term these any way you want, and we're looking at bodies of energy or bodies of influence that are unseen to your eyes or your ears. They're larger conglomerate agencies of energy, which are, say, the 12 zodiac signs, or archetypes that you'd use, or archons. And they do your bidding for you. They'll always get you what you want, but for them to work for you and do the work for you, which they always will, to get you what you want is different depending on the state of your being, the state of your intention, the state of your literal physical body, because they'll work in your best interest, and you might think your best interest is something that it's not. There's been plenty of times, like I was just talking about getting a Ferrari. If I wanted a Ferrari, they'd be like, all right, we'll get you a Ferrari, but it's probably not going to come for 6 months until we're going to have to make sure that you do these other things first to get you enough money to make sure that you can pay for the insurance on that thing, right? So if they're really working your best interest, you ain't going to get that for 6 months until you have the capacity to pay for the insurance. But if you're out of shape and you're just a fool and you're just like, I want that thing, they're, all right, fine, have it. And all of a sudden you can't pay for the insurance, and they're like, well, that's what you wanted, right? You're just rubbing the genie. You're rubbing the lamp every single time. And there are all sorts of forces in the world and in the universe and in you, inside of you, that are working for you. And you could, if you want to look at this a little deeper, what you would say is you have trumpets throughout your body. You have what you'd call your let's do it. Like we could use the word liver. We could use gallbladder. We could use chakras. Same thing. We could use energy points. We could use different names for different things that are literally emitting sound frequencies and energy, and some of these are blocked up. So if you say, I want this, and all of a sudden 3 or 4 of your signals in your body send out to the universe, to these different energetic agencies that you want something, but one of them is real blocked up, they're going to have to make up for that. You see? But if everything in your body is firing exactly as it should be, if you're like Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, if you have all of your colors shining off of you throughout your entire system, then getting what you want is more readily available. Instantaneous objectification of what it is that you require or desire. But most people have like those things running around in their system, literally giant dump trucks full of shit. So we just had a party in New Orleans. Let me use this example. We just had a 2-week party, right? Everybody was just wilding out, throwing things everywhere, clogging up drains, drinking beers, eating rich foods, making a mess. Everybody wanted to. It was a good time. No hard feelings. Everybody has a good time. Just a big mess, right? And we got to clean up afterwards. Same thing in your body. So now, do you think anybody right now that really participated hard is getting anything they want right now? No, what they wanted was to go and have that party. So all year last year, they were saving up money and time and energy and getting 2 weeks off from work and getting on a plane and coming down here and going, this is what we want to do. And they blew their load here and they had a good old time. Now these next couple weeks, they're repairing their internal environment as well as like their bank account and everything else that they just threw all over the place, right? But the people that live here, that worked hard, they got a big bank account right now because everybody that was just throwing their shit everywhere. Now all the bartenders are sitting here basking. They're just like, whew, that was work, but now they got cash. They got whatever they want, right? So the timeline is a little different. The influx of energy and their systems work differently. They're working all day. They didn't have time to go out and party. So these bartenders are in a lot better shape right now today than the people that came down here and partied. Simple philosophy, simple energetic system. Using money to explain the same exact thing as what's going on in your body by just using your brain to say, this is what I emit and what I want and I desire. And then the universe provides for you in such a way. And just by cleaning up your internal environment, these things happen faster. But again, as I've always put out there, when you start to do that, you better hold on to the reins a little closer, because you can't just have some wild ass thoughts. You better let's get that back in order. Get those thoughts back in order, because didn't you say you wanted that? No. No, I didn't want that. Okay, all right, cool. You know, that's what they do. I thought we were all on board here. Is that what you wanted? That's why the meditation is so very much more important. That time alone, the introversion and introspection. Sitting and doing nothing. Not doing nothing, but sitting and adjusting and controlling your thoughts so that when you walk out into the universe, into this big space, everything lines up the way that you want it. But most people, what do they say? The woman comes to this yogi master, says, man, nothing's happening in my life the way I want it. And, I'm stressed out, whatever. The yogi says, go and meditate for an hour. She goes, I don't have time to meditate for an hour. He goes, okay, then meditate for 2 hours. So everybody that's extroverted better think very long and hard about what rewards they're getting from that. By being more introverted, you can more correctly assess what it is that you do require. Key, as always, there are no toxins coming out of the urine. They'll be coming out the back or out of the skin. Daniel Drury, I think exercise in and of itself is just a great thing to do. Yeah, I think that in itself, living life is the perfect antidote. You ask how to overcome fear of death. Live life. There it is. Look at all these people out here that jumping out of airplanes and BMX biking over mountains and X Games and all this crazy stuff. They're living life to combat death. That's one way to do it, but at a higher stage of understanding, like there is no separation. So there's not anything to combat. There's nothing to do. You just do whatever you want, and have good thoughts for yourself and everyone around you. Torin, how can you tell if you aren't an Archon? I don't know. I don't know how to tell if you are. I don't tell if you aren't. How can you tell if what you want is beneficial? I don't know. I've yet to figure out what is and isn't beneficial. I think you know to a degree. Like, you know, drinking a gallon of gasoline, probably not the best thing. Gallon of fruit juice, probably a good thing. You kind of just, you know, you play inside of that spectrum. Yeah, Ruben, what's going on, man? The sediment you leave at the bottom. You know, whatever's left in the jug at the bottom. A lot of people say that is the gold, the monoatomic gold. So I would say just do a little more research on that. I've been explored it too much. You could try putting some under your tongue, see what happens. I mean, what's the worst gonna happen? Go back in your system, get rid of it again, you know? Cam, do I think it's awesome and high level to drink urine, lemon, espresso, ghee, and tea all day? I've done that plenty of times. Sometimes it's very beneficial for me. Sometimes, you know, it really, again, it's always, it's that environment versus how much impact you want to have on the environment. If it seems to work with your system and it seems to be helping you, then sure, then that's all you can really, that's what you can work with. Some people that might not work with. You know, somebody that's been on a horrible diet their entire life, that might be awful. They might be going through a lot of pangs, you know, healing pangs, and but for me, those things work well for me. What else would I recommend to throw into that equation? Again, I like to balance out my mind and my pH with substances. Sometimes the substance is just oxygen. Sometimes it's just breathing. Sometimes it's water. But then whenever I'm like, I'm out in public and I'd like to adjust my tolerance for certain things, have a little bit more energy, expression, maybe I'll find espresso. I wanna, you know, I'm a little tense or something, cut the edge, have a glass of wine. You know, these substances are at our disposal. This is the purpose of this planet. This is the purpose of living. It's not to not consume anything. You're here for a reason, and it's to enjoy these things. Life is about the highest order of good is joy, right? So find these things that, you know, elicit the proper energy in your system. Adding things to that, whatever I would go through for you, I would say find the colors of the juice, the colors of the rainbow. Go through the colors. Maybe one day what you want is more red in your diet. Maybe you want to be more fiery. Maybe you don't have a lot of energy. Maybe you're feeling little blue. Throw some yellow in the mix, right? So you got the lemons, or maybe you're too fiery. Then maybe you want some blueberries, cool you down. Maybe you want a cucumber, cool as a cucumber, right? So these kind of things, you know, and into it a little farther. Like wearing this changes me completely. The clothes you wear are absolute energetic expressions of what's going on inside of you as well. So you can use clothing to adjust. You can use aromatherapy. Like, I don't know what your normal standard deviation of mental anxieties and preferences and things are. I don't know that, so it'd be hard for me to say, hey, drink more coffee, because for some people that might be awful. I don't do well with coffee. I don't like coffee. I like espresso here and there for sure. If I'm drinking espresso, I might have a cigar. I like the balance of that. Makes me contemplative and gives me a little bit of energy in the mind. Yeah, Torian, that's a tough one. Maybe adjust. Find some things that are depressants for you. Maybe things that would calm your mind down. There's certain substances that will do that. So look into different aromatherapy oils that will be beneficial for your like peppermint might be too enlivening for your mind, so you want things that are going to dull your mind. Look into things that will do that, but there's a lot of oils that will have that effect on your brain. Kia, is it bad to cut off a family member because you don't like their energy and you choose to preserve your peace? Like, who are the family you're born with? Why are they born with them? I don't think there's anything wrong or at all whatsoever. Anything that is getting in the way of you being complete and healthy and holistic yourself, you have to. I've eliminated lots of people and things and ideas and from my life. Sometimes it's, obviously it's a little bit like, oh, that sucks. But, I mean, the kind of person I am right now, you have no idea what I would be like. And I have no idea, but I have my guesses of what I would be like if I was near the people that raised me. It wouldn't be a good look. I'll put it that way. There's good people, there's shitty people. It just is such. You can't help everyone and not everyone can help you. That's the holistic thing. You just have to be whatever you are, and things that get in the way of that, move it out the way. Go over it, around it, move it, what you got to do. It doesn't matter if it's a person or an idea or a physical object. There's things going to help you become yourself and assist you in your whatever your quest is, whatever your path is, and there's things that will ruin it. Family means not a damn thing, and everyone is my family, but there's family members that I'm not really interested in hanging out with. There's people that I'll meet in the streets that I'd more hang out with. There's people in the streets I don't like. It's preference. Always back to that. It's not judgment, it's preference. I don't prefer this right now. Ruben, I would assume you're probably at the point where less alcohol is probably better, because alcohol is not necessarily going to be a thickening agent for the hair. I think beer is a good idea because it has some vitamin and nutrition in it. But from the other alchemical level of using, say, vodka or whatever, that's more cleansative, and it's not going to be, unless you're putting something in it as a delivery system. But that's going to dry things out and thin blood, right? So you'd want to be offering your hair and your system silica and things like this. So maybe you'd find silica in a vodka substrate. Maybe you'd find like a tincture of it, or other things that would be helpful to the hair. But I don't think just straight off the, just adding alcohol is going to have any benefit for that specific thing. It's going to be far more drying, and again, people have different constituents to their body. You have your hot, cold, you have the four humors: hot and cold, and wet and dry. And so it depends, but it depends on that. You probably want something wet and cold for the hair. And guys, my phone is almost toast here. I only got like 5% left, so. Lemon juice is not going to harm your digestive system on an empty stomach, Cam. I don't know that espresso would either. Most people, most cultures, they wake up and have a cup of espresso. That's breakfast. Just like a beer is breakfast. A good beer, a good breakfast stout. Why do you think they call it breakfast stout? It's supposed to be a breakfast. It's liquid bread. It's bread without all of the bullshit that you don't need in bread. Yeah, Torin, I mean, selfless devotion, man. I mean, that's, how can you no one can have selfless devotion. It's silly. You have to have a self. You'll always have a self. Call it selfish devotion. Because I've done many talks on this, and you can look through them. Some probably have the label of selfishness and if I can you look through them, if you can find them, there's a couple that have the title. It will be right in the title, it'll be something about this. But the idea is like, how can you help anyone else if you can't help yourself? If your temple's a mess and a wreck, how do you plan to help anyone? If you can't think to the highest level, how could you instruct anyone? If you can't pick up a heavy object, how do you expect to help somebody move a car that's in the way? You know what I mean? And so you should be more infatuated with helping yourself primarily. First off, you have to. But then after that, then the world is like, then it's easy. It's easy to help people. It's easy to assist people. But people will find themselves digging their own grave of unhappiness by always helping other people. I've learned this lesson many times. It happened to me recently. I tried to help some people, and it cost me. It cost me. I went out of my way for some. I always do this, and I've really cut back on it lately. But I was helping some people out, and it ended up, hurting my budget. So you just gotta take care of yourself first, and then it's easy to do. Rich people can loan out money, poor people can't. That's awesome, Cam. Yeah, I mean, that's whenever I'm doing well and I'm consuming the least amount of things and just getting the correct substances in my body, that's pretty similar. Distilled water, juice, urine, tea, espresso here and there. Yeah, that's a pretty lemon juice. Yeah. What up, Johnny K? Yeah, try Torin. Try breathing more, nostril breathing. Breathe in here and out of the mouth. Cycle the energy down into the body. And the pattern, a good pattern for you would probably be 4 seconds in, hold it for 7 seconds, and breathe out for 8 seconds. That will really calm down and change, different levels of dopamine, serotonin, etc., in your brain, as well as oxygenate the brain and pull energy into your body. And if you're overthinking, you want the energy in your body. Other things you can do is just go do exercise, go work out, go run, go jog. And while you're running and jogging, breathe properly. Don't start just. So you're cycling the oxygen the correct way while you're doing your exercise. Yeah. Marijuana is the feminine plant and tobacco is the masculine plant. And again, y'all, my phone's gonna be dead any minute here, so if this cuts out, sorry. I'm gonna have to charge this and come back on a little later. But yeah, so this is why you balance out the feminine with the masculine. So you'd roll a spliff, marijuana and tobacco. And tobacco is gonna have to be obviously not sprayed, etc., etc. And there's other elements in plant life you can add to it to give you different experience and benefits. I use both of those things very, very minimally, and use a lot of other plant life as the hardy version of whatever I might ingest. Mugwort, etc., etc., etc. I mean, I did a video on it, and in fact on my Instagram page a while back, I did a whole series on what plant life I used and how to mix it for just daily ritual smoking. Dong Cheel. Is destruction inevitable? It's I that's a word I could play semantics with, you know what I mean? You just have to say Shakti and Shiva. You have to pull things apart. I mean, if you want to knock it down the way little kids knock down Legos, you could do that. But And my phone's gonna be dead in like 30 seconds, y'all. So I'm gonna close this up and I'll come back on in a little while. So yeah, thumbs up or whatever. And for anybody in the future, you can always hit the donation button and keep my phone alive so I can do these things longer. But I'm gonna go and charge this. I'll try to be out here in like an hour, y'all. But this was fun. Hope you guys liked it. Yeah. Yeah, 4 ins, 7 hold, 8 out. That's correct. In the nose, out of the mouth, buddy. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Cheers, y'all.